One who understands others has knowledge. One who understands himself has wisdom. Mastering others requires force. Mastering the self needs strength. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. One who gives himself to his position surely lives strong and long. 33rd verse of the Tao Te Ching. Oh, how it feels good to be right. We all love to be right when questioned. We all love to be the person that explains stuff to people, the person that people go to for answers, and the person that people shut up around and listen to and have nothing to say about it. That's not really the case with life, though. Of course, it feels good to be right. It feels very satisfactory, and it's a very good feeling when people keep coming at you, asking for advice and wisdom and whatnot. But there's just a certain extent to that would just make you feel a lot better. Because overly doing it, if you have the mindset that you are not wrong about anything, that you don't want any help with anything, you tend to look very sour and become very unapproachable. And when I was younger, I ended up struggling with this. A lot of people I was in contact with acted like this. So me, being my shy self and thinking I'm doing everything wrong, started to think, well, I keep running into this with the same people I'm contacting with, so they must be right and I must just be stupid and I really need to learn how to act like they act. So then I just started mimicking them. And then you get labeled the classic hothead, an energetic person who just comes in the room and just has become very boisterous with everything. And you can only really have like a couple of sentences with that person because everything you say is gonna like twist and turn out of function and try to explain what you're trying to say to them when you're just having a conversation with them. Yeah, people are just very turned off by that and just walk away. There's just a lot better ways to go about that with that, and that's why I've learned through books and teachings, and this main lesson mostly from Wayne Dyer books is you want to be more of a student in life than a teacher. You want to treat everything that comes upon your life, people, objects, forces, weather, whatever it shall be, as a lesson, and you're the student. Now, taking into the fact of the classical saying as the man is always right, there's a way to kind of break that down a bit more. Obviously, it's just meant as a joke to say, the way us men think is we want to know the truth. We strive for knowing the truth, strive for what we want to do in our life, our passions. But as we're going along with it, we want to make sure we know the truth, because that way it's a lot more easier to achieve our passions in life. Because we know it's truthful, we know it's real, so we're going to keep going for it. And it's just a very common-sensey way we think. So that's why just with the mindset of being more of a student than a teacher would work out so much well for us than us just, shying everyone off away and being a dickhead. And if done correctly, you give off a more masculine vibe than being a know-it-all and being a person who doesn't know anything at all. It just goes right back to what I've mostly been saying in the majority of my videos is you gotta meet in that middle part, that smooth path right in the middle. Everything off of the side is just kind of rough terrain, but both are very different. But when you kind of mix the two that are off to the side, you get that chemical reaction that just smooths everything out. I know, it's kind of a funny saying that I'm saying chemical reaction, it's kind of relatable to self-help, and self-help goes into quantum physics and blah blah blah.
Let's walk all around in the field, be one with the sky. Hold hands and let's take off of our clothes and run naked and rub each other's butts against each other.
When you go about your day and talk to people, listen to them. Take into account to what they're saying and question it. Don't question it in such a way that you're questioning that they're wrong. Question it out of curiosity, as in, what do you mean by that? Can you explain it more? So that I may understand what you're understanding a bit more. And this is why the truth just means so much to us. If we're working towards something, if we're trying to find people that we're interested, or just, trying to have a decent conversation, waste some time or something, it makes it a lot more easier if that person's telling the truth. If someone's just obviously lying, you're just cringing in your head and your brain is literally just like popping like a bag of popcorn and it's burning now. You get very discomforted and you just almost feel kind of trapped in that conversation with that person sometimes. You don't always want to be the person to call people on their shit because it's an asshole thing to do. If something's like that, if that person seems approachable enough, it's okay to say just, that's very interesting. Well, I could have sworn it was this way, but I'd never heard it that way before. But it makes total sense of what you're saying. Yeah, you'll run into people, even if you go about saying sentences like that, they'll snap at you like a cat hissing at you. There's always that stance you have when a cat hisses at you where like you're both looking at each other like who's gonna walk away first? Stay. Who cares if it's awkward? They need to learn the fact too. All of us here on Earth are here for a fair amount of time, but it's not forever. And it would just make more sense if we just go about our day being more students than teachers, because we want to learn as much as we can as we're on this earth. We don't want to just sit and stew in our same thoughts because thinking about the same thing, thinking that we're right about the same opinions and not questioning it at all times for the rest of our life is insanity, because we're doing the same thing over and over, and we don't want to learn anything new about anything because we're stubborn like a root. And when you go in acting like a student, go in acting like a student. A student goes in to learn. You want to learn something. Striving for the truth of it all too makes it a lot easier for what you're trying to learn. You're going to learn something different every day, and you may sometimes think, well, I'm not going to be able to use that. You'll be able to use it some way, someday. Some way, someday you will be able to use that information, and that's why it's best just to learn from it. Once you learn stuff like that, you have different conversations with different people, picking up on everything, it'll be a lot more easier to have conversations with other people, and in this way, you get along with pretty much anyone if you act more like a student than a teacher. Because people love to talk. They love to voice their opinions, and they love it when they have an audience around them. Everyone does. Even the shyest people, you just gotta crack them open like an egg and they just will not shut up. And in most cases, the most shyest people have the most to say. This is my case, obviously. I shied away from this for so long when it should have been really the first thing I went to, because I never thought I had the best speaking voice. I never thought I could pronunciate my voice well to people and use the correct words, so I was very quiet. And obviously when I got older, I was just so resentful of how I was treated when I was younger, so I acted like a hothead, and I had to have like 5-second conversations with anyone I'd ever meet, and very small friend groups, and mostly lost all of them. Not just for that reason. I pick bad friends. That's just how it goes sometimes, is you gotta cut people out like that too. Being more of a student than a teacher in conversations and basically in life, it's a lot easier to schmooze your way around to people that you truly enjoy, while also still getting along with people that you truly did not enjoy as much as other people. You listened to what they had to say and they respected you for that. And you asked questions and you were generally interested because you're searching for knowledge. You didn't just half-ass the conversation and then all of a sudden they said something that you did not like, so you're fixating on that, and all of a sudden in the middle of the conversation you're calling them out on it, trying to call their bullshit, trying to make them look stupid. It's just not the right thing to do. Let people talk. Learn from something about it. Just learn from something, anything from it. There's always something in there. You'll be able to go through life a lot more easier this way, a lot more smoother, and you become a lot more respectable as a man. Instead of just some sour grouch who is just some fucking know-it-all, and you don't want to talk to him, he's mostly avoided, and he probably doesn't go out at all, and no one talks to him because they're cut down to size in his eyes every time someone talks to him. Obviously, if you overdo it though, you kind of look stalkerish, and then you kind of act like overly obsessive with the person. Be a student, be your own person, ask your questions, listen to what they have to say, and determine the truth behind the matter. Because you could hear the same conversation from two different people, but hear both sides. And that's the beauty of learning, is because you hear both sides and you can determine your truth factor. That's why it makes it so much easier to be a student in learning, and just to stand your ground and know your truth, so you can have intelligent conversations or appropriate conversations, not just call people on stupid bullshit, just take into account for everything. And then you can have the same conversation with a different person, but there's different views. It makes the conversation a lot more interesting because you heard a different side of it before, and then you can determine right there and then, after you've talked to the second person, of what your truth matter is behind that subject. As you can see, I can just go off for freaking an hour about this stuff because that's just how it works. I'm not just stating a sentence that I want you to believe and you better believe it because I know it's the truth, and then it only lasts like 5 seconds. No, I'm really going into it because there's so much going on with it, and you can just really enjoy it and truly live life like this. Instead of just being stubborn and stewing and just sitting there and just, I'm right all the time, I don't care. No, you're wrong.
Wrong. Wrong. Wrong.
Guys, hit the link down below. Sign up for a free coaching session, 30 minutes, in some way or another. I know I can help. Thank you. You guys are going to have a great day.